All right, so when I saw you in class, I showed you a picture of a poor soul being shot out of a cannon, and we said we needed to be able to solve a quadratic equation to be able to find where his net needs to go, where his x-intercept of his equation was. And in order to solve quadratic equations, we need to be able to factor. Now, either you were properly tortured by your high school teacher and made to factor quadratics until your knuckles bled, in which case you're probably in good shape for solving quadratic equations already. If you weren't properly tortured, then you probably don't remember how to factor. All right, so what I want to do in this video is remind you how to multiply things out like you see below. This is not factoring yet. We'll do that in the next video. Okay, so if you know exactly what to do with these three things sitting on the screen here, pause the video, multiply it out, and then you can kind of fast forward to the end and see if you got the right answer. And if you do, then you can move on to the next video. If you need a refresher on this, that's what I'm going to do here. All right, so when I multiply out binomials like the ones on the left side and in the middle, I like to use the acronym FOIL. So I'm going to tell you what that means. Okay, so when I say FOIL, I mean that I'm going to multiply the first terms, the outer terms, the inner terms, and the last terms. Right. So what that looks like on the first one, I'm going to multiply my first terms together to get x squared. I'm going to multiply the outer two terms, that's the x and the 5. I'm going to multiply the inner terms, get negative 7x there, and then the last terms, which gives me negative 35. All right, so the OI of the FOIL is always the part that gets mushed together when we gather up our like terms. Okay, so we can still see what gave us from our first terms, then we get minus 2x in the middle, minus 35. All right. In the next video, when we're factoring, we're going to be unpacking that. We're trying to reverse engineer that quadratic into its two factors. All right, so let's do the second one in the middle here. I'm going to do my first terms and get 10x squared. My outer terms, minus 2x. My inner terms give me plus 15x. And my last terms give me minus 3. All right, and again, we always end up combining the OI of our FOIL. All right, so I get 10x squared. It's going to give me plus 13x minus 3. And there we have it. All right, the last one on the right is not a FOIL. We just have that negative 4x term. This is where we want to distribute this to both terms in the parentheses. So this one's actually a little bit easier. I get negative 4x times x. And then negative 4x times negative 5, that's going to give me a positive 20x. All right, so in the next video, we're going to try to think about how to reverse engineer those answers in the boxes and figure out where they came from in the problem above.